From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
You're driving me crazy. You're making me run. Stop calling me baby. Look what you've done. I'm living the nightmare. I'm living the dream. Somewhere in between.
It's the week of Friday, April 14, 2017, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and this week's show is brought to you by HelloFresh.
Hello.
The meal kit delivery service that makes cooking fun, easy, and convenient. Basically, HelloFresh wants to change the way people eat forever. Each week, HelloFresh creates new delicious recipes with step-by-step instructions designed to take around 30 minutes for everyone from novices to seasoned home cooks short on time. They source the freshest ingredients. It's measured to the exact quantities needed so there's no food waste. And they employ a full-time registered dietitian on staff who reviews each recipe to ensure it's nutritionally balanced. And then they deliver it to your doorstep in a special insulated box for free, and it is sitting on my desk right now because I just got my delivery.
I would like to talk about this.
Okay.
Because you know what else I like about HelloFresh is that they don't like a lot of times when I look up recipes that I get stoked about, they make you use a tool like in the kitchen that you don't have.
Right.
So like now put everything in your pressure cooker
And then
for 5 minutes.
spatchcock the thing, and
Right.
how do you do that?
Right.
What is a spatchcock?
It is a literal process of breaking the bones of a bird and pressing it flat, and that's
It's
called
very
spatchcocking
primal.
it.
It's very
It's for our
primal.
after-hours show.
That
You'll
sounds
get there.
awful.
Oh, it's terrible. Our friend Shauna taught us about it. But with HelloFresh, it's all like just use a pan, use a spatula. I like that.
Yeah.
And they have a classic box, and for you, a veggie box.
I know. I really want to
It's
try
really
it. I'm
great.
excited.
I'm excited because my box came today, and I was telling Cohen on the way to school this morning, I think Daddy's going to be able to make food tonight. Because last night was Chef Boyardee can. So
I was going to say, the way you described it, as if you and Cohen then went to the railroad tracks with an old can of beans that you cooked over like
Kinda.
a big
Right.
open fire in
Kinda.
a old barrel.
I found some freezer burned green beans in the back of the freezer, and some Chef Boyardee because I was waiting on HelloFresh to show up.
Yeah.
And I walked in this morning, and there it was. I was like, we're eating tonight, buddy.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Cohen, you don't have to scrape out the ham flecks in the bean can this time. We got HelloFresh tonight. You're getting protein.
Your night last night was brought to you by Hello Sadness.
Yeah, no, exactly. Right now, HelloFresh is offering Relevant Podcast listeners a special offer. You can get $30 off your first week of deliveries by visiting HelloFresh.com and entering offer code RELEVANT30 when you subscribe. That's $30 off. You should go do it. Like I said, I'm your host, Cameron Strang. Here with me in our Orlando studios, Eddie Big Cat Koffoltz.
Yes, nice to see you.
Over there on the ones and twos, our illustrious producer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
And on the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
And joining us for his residency, I guess we're calling it, I don't know, joining the cast for the full show and regular intervals throughout the summer, our good friend Propaganda.
Hey, turtle. Ski.
See, we have like
Burr.
we have DJ effects. Chandler, you need to have DJ effects.
Oh, yeah.
Propaganda.
We're gonna find out if propaganda. We're gonna find out if I'm like really just like a one-trick pony, or like I can really do this. Albeit, even if I am a one-trick pony, I'm an incredibly handsome one-trick pony.
You are.
Which is a really
That
good trait
is-
for an audio medium.
Yes.
After the last show, the
I'm
response...
also unapologetically black, which I think helps.
Cool.
Anyway,
after the response after Prop was on the show a couple weeks ago was so strong. People were like, he just brought so much and a different perspective, and it was so fun having him on. Could he please come on more often? So, we were hoping that would happen, and we had reached out to him about joining the show on a regular basis. It can't be every week because he travels and he has a career as a hip hop artist. But if he's available, he'll join us, and we're excited about it. And it will be interesting to find out if he can continue. Is he going to be that one trick pony like he was just saying? Is he going to just keep bringing the same thing? And we should have ended on a high note, or is he going to be able to step it up every week? We'll see.
Prop, I got a question, man. It's a twofold question. How much pressure do you feel because of the massive response of last night? And did you even sleep last night?
well, I did sleep last night. However, I definitely put considerably more thought into what I need to do this time than I did last time. So there is a bit of like sophomore jinx that I'm like, okay, what do I say this time?
I like it. That's basically how Eddie approaches every week.
Yeah. Okay. Start.
We have a great show today. We actually have a lot happening. We have normally, if you listen to our show, we'll have kind of a recurring format. We have this, whatever this is. We'll have, in case you missed it,
Free skate.
We'll have free skate. The couple's skate is later.
Adult Swim comes late in the show. Late night.
That's the outtakes.
After dark. Yeah.
Right. We'll have slices. So we have this. We have in case you missed it. Then we have slices, and then we usually have a guest. And then we'll have either a game or an artist will join us, and then we have feedback. That's it, every time.
That's great.
This week, changing it up a little bit. We have 3 guests this week.
But on this show, years have never changed it up. This is a big day.
This is a big day. The segments are going to be a little bit shorter, but we have a lot of territory to cover. So we wanted to bring them because they're all timely. Mm-hmm. Number 1, joining us on the show today, N.T. Wright is coming on. I mean, this is Easter weekend that the show's coming out. N.T. Wright's coming on to talk about the crucifixion and Good Friday. So, I mean, can't bump him.
I was going to say, and he's like the heaviest hitter, I mean, in terms of like theology. I mean, he's talking about the crucifixion on Good Friday.
Yeah. So Drew Holcomb is joining us to walk us through his brand new album, Souvenir. Can't bump him.
Yeah.
No, what are you going to do?
And this week, big news, obviously, big news. And I don't mean this lightheartedly. I mean big news coming out of Egypt about the bombings of the Christian communities there and the persecution that's happening. Specifically, ISIS is now targeting Christians in Egypt. Kristen Wright of Open Doors is joining us to discuss what's happening there.
It feels worth yielding a bit of this time for that.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. It was like one of those things like, no, we need to talk about this. When we look back at the end of the year, we're not going to remember whatever dumb thing we were talking about, but we were going to remember like that week of what was happening in our world, So
that is probably wise.
So there you go. So that's coming up later. So stay tuned for that.
Can't wait.
Well, because of that, let's just move the show along. I mean, we've already done our meet and greet with Prop. It's time for our look back at what happened this week in culture and entertainment. It's time for
In Case You Missed It.
In case you missed it, this week Louis C.K. made some controversial, you could say, comments about abortion. The statements appear in his new Netflix stand-up special, and it's literally how he starts the special.
It was shocking.
Yeah, it actually really was shocking. I was in an editorial meeting, and Jesse and Aaron were telling me about it.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I went home and watched it.
Yeah,
I saw it for myself. They butchered the timing, by the way, when they were recapping it for me.
But we weren't trying to tell the jokes. We were trying to explain.
You just butchered it.
Cameron, here's your chance. Here's your chance to redeem our recap. You're going to talk about it here. You recapture Louis C.K.'s time.
Let's hear it,
That's like saying he was describing a Michael Jordan dunk at the gym in a layup line, and he butchered Michael Jordan's dunk. It's Louis C.K. I can't match his timing.
Okay, so the gist of the bit that he said was this. So basically, there's only 2 ways to think about abortion. It's either killing a baby, or it's a needed legal right that's morally meaningless. Essentially saying that the idea that that phrase that people say, abortion should be legal, safe, and rare, is hypocritical. Because he said, why should it be rare if it's legal and meaningless, right? So basically, Louis C.K. says abortion is either not a big deal at all, or it's a huge deal, and there's no middle ground. So discussing abortion protesters, he says, listen, people hate abortion protesters. Oh, they're so shrill and awful and whatever. He goes, they think babies are being murdered. What are they supposed to be like? You know what I mean? They're standing there, passionately objecting to something that they have a strong belief about. And so then, as for his own opinion, he says he's conflicted. He says, I don't think it's killing a baby. I don't. I mean, it is. It is. It's a little bit. It's a little bit killing a baby. It's a little bit. It's 100% killing a baby. It is. It's totally killing a whole baby. But I think that women should be allowed to kill babies. They should be allowed to kill babies. I just think it has to be one or the other. It was crazy, but his line of logic is dead on.
Yeah, I was at the gymnasium working on the temple, and I could not believe.
So you watch Netflix real quick. You watch Netflix at the gym?
Depends on what I'm doing. If I'm tossing the medicine ball around with an old guy, no, I'm not going to do that. But if I'm, just on the elliptical machine, I'll watch a little Netflix. Okay. But I was watching it he has a really incredible way of being wildly offensive, right? But also sort of making a brilliant commentary in the midst of it. I was not sure how I landed, other than hearing Cameron recap it just now was pretty crazy to hear. Like, it was like, oh, wow, those are the words he said. Somehow I was kind of chuckling through it, but it really shows like the mastery of the delivery.
Because there are very few people who could say those words and not only get away with it and get laughs, but actually create dialogue like this. Because people on both sides of the debate are talking about it, but no one is saying, well, he can't say that. They're saying, well, look, he's a comedian. He's making an observation and making a joke, but he's making a really startling point that no one else really is.
Right. Prop, what did you think?
Yeah, I actually believe that like comedians, specifically in our time, are like the last standing truth sayers to culture. Like, so I believe that like if you look at what Jon Stewart was for us, what John Oliver is, and Samantha Bee, it's like these comedians who are like actually lobbing these phenomenal critiques to culture, right? What Chris Rock was, and even in a lot of ways, Cat Williams, like when in a weird way, but when he talked about the tiger that attacked the baby or attacked the kid that jumped into the tiger compound thing a few years back, he was like, y'all blaming the tiger? Like, it's a tiger.
That's what it's supposed to do.
It's doing its job.
It's a tiger in a zoo. Like, he's like, if you can understand what it means to be a tiger in a zoo, you can understand what it means to be a black man in America, right? Yeah. So he just lays out this case as to like, why are you saying the tiger is wrong, right? So I honestly believe that like they are our best social commentators. So whether I think Louis C.K. is right or not is besides the point. I think the bigger beauty is that like comedians are the last truth sayers.
So that leaves me with something that I've been conflicted about, which is all of with Don Rickles dying and people paying tribute to him. Like, okay, but that guy was really racist. I don't know how to like. People seem to like
phenomenally racist.
So how do people? I feel like I've seen people who I like respect in entertainment paying tribute to him, and I thought, I don't know that he was doing commentary. I think he was just being really mean.
No,
I don't think all comedians are.
I think the day and age we're in. I mean, I think like what Dave Chappelle did on SNL the day after the election or the week of the election is significant. Yeah. You know what I mean? And through laughter, he's exposing things about our culture. And I think comedy today is serving a different purpose in the national dialogue than back in Don Rickles' day.
Appreciate him for their moment.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
In case you missed it, this week, Mr. T, he made the news.
Now that guy is without flaw. I love that guy.
Mr. T said that his famous catchphrase, "I pity the fool," actually came from the Bible. So he's actually right now a contestant on Dancing with the Stars.
Hold on, I'm opening up.
Whenever you say Dancing with the Stars, you have to put stars in air quotes. Air quotes,
always.
I'm opening up YouVersion to find "I pity the fool." Let me.
Well, it's probably in the Eugene Peterson translation.
Yeah,
Eugene Peterson.
It's a lot of psalms. Yeah.
So he's a contestant, and he was recently on Conan, and here's what he said.
You coined one of the most famous catchphrases in history. I pity the fool. Mm-hmm. What's interesting is I read an article with you once where you said that when you pity the fool, you consider that an act of kindness. To
Oh yes. Yeah,
I always took it as I pity the fool means I want to kill the guy.
No. When you pity somebody, you're showing them mercy. Because I didn't start this pity stuff. It was in the Bible. You know, you can find pity so many times in the Bible and food so many times. So I put them together. Pity the fool.
That's brilliant.
A lot of guys in the Bible was asking for pity.
Yeah.
You know, and then a lot of them was saying I did a foolish act.
Right.
So I put it together.
I didn't realize you did all this research before you came up with I pity the fool.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say, too, real quick, that Mr. T has not aged. Like, whatever he's done, if you were to put a picture of him on Conan this week or on Dancing with the Stars and one when he was in the A-Team when I was like 5 years old, I don't know that I could tell the difference.
B.A. Baracus.
I'll tell you a little. I don't do speaking engagements. I've done 2 in my life, okay? And the only other one that I recently was back in like 2004, right after Relevant Print started. Mm-hmm. And I was invited up to Willow Creek, their young adults ministry, I think it's called Axiom or something, had like 1,500, 2,000 people, and they were doing a series where they were inviting somebody in, be interviewed that was like, I don't know, impacting culture in some way or whatever. They're looking at the different types of doing that, right? And so I got the opportunity to go up there and I was being interviewed, and I was told right before I went on stage that they're excited to have me. I was like, who was it last week? And he goes, Mr. T.
What?
And when I walked out there and it was just me and they never heard of me, and last week was Mr. T. I've never seen so many disappointed faces. Like the caliber kind of plummeted when I walked out there.
I mean, you're very good and it's cool and relevant's great, but like
Mr. T was the A-team, man.
Who wants to follow Mr. T?
Nobody.
Yeah, they set you up for failure, bro.
I know, that's not fair.
Maybe Face or Hannibal could have pulled it off, but Mr. T is still the best.
Do you think when Mr. T shows up to those type of events, he comes in at the very last second, speeding in on the van, and like when he leaves, he just peels out recklessly onto the highway?
Yes, definitely.
Walks right up on stage, talks for 3 hours about the gospel, walks immediately out, hops in the van as people are shooting.
And he didn't even fly in. He drove the van there from wherever
he literally floored it almost the entire time. Like he was going like 145 miles an hour down the highway. But he's in the Mr. T and he's in a van with a machine gun on top, so he gets a pass.
He went from LA to Chicago in 4.5 hours in that van. It was
and every
that's why he doesn't fly.
And every screaming down the highway.
Right. And every 10th speaking engagement, he wears like a different costume so they don't know that it's him. That's what they did on the A-Team. They wore a lot of costumes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
It was the best show.
Hey, in case you missed it,
Not the best reference.
MTV Movie and TV Awards has become the second major award show to drop gender-specific categories. Instead of Best Actress and Best Actor, there will only be a Best Actor category, and it will include nominees not based on gender. Back in 2011, the Grammys stopped awarding male and female artists separately. In case you want to DVR it, the show airs on May 7th.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have less of a chance of winning?
Right.
Because
there's the categories, right?
Yeah, but don't you guys think it's weird that they still do it anyway in like a lot of awards? It's like if you worked at a company and you're like, this is the salesperson of the year for men and for women or whatever, whatever the award was. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to break it up by gender distinction, right? I mean,
actually true.
Oh, here's the employee of the month for men and for women.
It's not the NBA and the WNBA where the athletic abilities are physically different. A great acting role is a great acting role.
I guess we have to go back to like, okay, so why did they divvy it up in the first place? And have we gotten to a place where those distinctions are not necessary?
Right.
Which might be a testament to really where the Hollywood industry has gotten over gender issues, so like, was it we had to do a best leading role for women because nobody was acknowledging women as like leading roles, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so there might have been a necessity at one point, and then but once like we've gotten to a place where you could take that scaffolding off, then we could be like, all right, all things are equal now.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Nowhere is the wage gap more extreme than in Hollywood. What were some of those stats that we run, Jesse, in the magazine where it's like there was Jennifer Lawrence or something was in a movie and her co-star got like $20 million and she got $2 million or something?
Yeah, it was like an ensemble movie. I think that in that case it was American Hustle. And
That's right. It was.
Even like some of the ensemble men in the movie who weren't as big of a name were making more than her.
Yeah, and the real test will be 4 years from now, 10 years from now, the ratio of women to men like winning the actual best actor thing. So if we're like, hey, we did away from the gender roles and then 9 out of the 10 winners were dudes, then we're like, all right, not sure we're moving forward here, guys.
I'm calling it now. Hashtag Oscar So Dude is going to be a thing.
Oscar So Dude
is going to be a thing in 3 years. Hey, in case you missed it, SNL this week had a scathing takedown of slacktivism. One of their digital shorts was a music video called Thank You, Scott, which makes fun of the culture of slacktivism, which is only engaging with important issues on a very surface level, like posting it to your Facebook page. The video features a man named Scott, which is played by Louis C.K. You don't want to butcher this. He's disturbed by the things he sees on the news, but does nothing other than post things on his social media pages in response. Here's the song.
Racism, can't trust the government.
Refugees should be barred.
Deep mistrust of government.
We got so many problems in this world.
It seemed like there was no hope things would change. But then one man spoke up.
This song goes out to him. Thank you, Scott. turned on the TV. What did he see? Blood being spilled, war in the Middle East.
Refugees seek safety across the sea, but hundreds are drowning, yearning to be free.
He couldn't sit by and do nothing. He had to act before it was too late. He shared an article on Facebook, and then everything changed.
Thank you, Scott.
You solved the problem, Scott. You brought the struggle to an end, Scott. By sharing that article with 84 Facebook friends. Thank you, Scott.
It goes on from there.
Kind of amazing. The irony is people sharing the thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, in case you missed it, this week an atheist group is trying to stop an SEC football coach from tweeting Bible verses. Hugh Freeze is the head football coach at the University of Mississippi and a frequent tweeter of Bible verses, like "Pity the Fool," stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Scott.
Well known ones. Well known.
Yeah, and pastoral quotes. So his individual account. Now, the Freedom from Religion Foundation is trying to stop him from doing so. In a letter to the school released to the public, they claim that his behavior, quote, creates the appearance that the university endorses Freeze's tweets and the religious promotion therein, and asks the school to take, quote, immediate action. However, in their own statement, the First Liberty Institute law firm, which defends religious liberty, is telling Ole Miss to, quote, ignore the letter. So, interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
it's from his personal account.
It's his personal account.
Well, like, you can't... Yeah. First of all, before I get into trouble on this, I think you should be able to tweet what he wants. I'm basically like, I get it.
Right.
But like,
it's a baby.
Yeah. But like retweets from people, when people write like, tweets are not endorsements or I don't speak for the company, like you kind of do. Like if I went on and said incendiary things, it's not like I would just be on this podcast
like
next
Don
week.
Rickles stuff.
Right. If I started quoting Don Rickles on my tweet, it's not like
without attributing it to Don Rickles or putting in quotes.
Right. Or quoting myself.
Right.
Here's terribly anti-Semitic thing. Me right now just said that. Right. Like I wouldn't be back here. I wouldn't be at IJM the next day. Like it does matter. So like there is an implied representation of the organization. And it's the South, and they don't care. I mean, they're like fine with church culture and stuff,
But at the same time, I feel like it creates a slippery slope where like I get like you want to have there's the laws in place that prevent the government from endorsing one religion over the other. I totally get that. But it's a slippery slope. Like, when do you start infringing on someone's free speech when they're outside the capacity of a government employee? Which Hugh Freeze, if he's, a football coach at a public university, he is an employee of the state. He's a high-profile one. But
we could get an expert on, but the separation of church and state laws were meant to protect religion from the government, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And so, him as a government employee tweeting Bible verses is freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and there's nothing wrong with that legally if you're talking about church and state issues, because it was the other way around.
Yeah, and plus he's not doing it. He's not even doing it at the school. He's doing it because my point is this: like, where do you draw the line? If you can't do it on Twitter, does that mean I can do it in private conversations?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, then that means we need to end all social media, because all of us have jobs or represent something. So when you speak any sort of opinion, it's a reflection of something else. So if I go, hey, taking my kids to soccer practice, you could be like, oh, you hold to traditional family values, and you think it's important that that actually infringes, I believe, in community. You know what I'm saying? Like raising. So I'm like, at some point, like there's no way to not present a worldview when I open my mouth.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for In Case You Missed It.
Wait. That'll. No, how about In Case You Missed It?
Well, hold on.
The one that you missed.
You're saying that Jesse's tightly curated list of everything that happened in culture and entertainment might have missed something?
How dare you, Prop? I gotta ease this tension real quick, man. Can I get you a Pepsi?
Oh, no.
Yes! That's what I'm saying.
I'm drinking.
Okay, in case you missed it this week, the internet melted because Pepsi is stupid and thought they'd solve racism.
I already didn't like
commercial.
Pepsi just as a drink. And now this is a real problem. So
this has been a bad week for PR for brands like United Airlines and
Lost almost
Pepsi.
$1 billion
in stock value.
So Pepsi, the thing about the Pepsi commercial
exactly what
that baffled me is how many people, not only, how many people does it take to make a commercial of that scale of production, which is huge? How many people are in that commercial? How many people approved that commercial? I mean, there were hundreds, if not thousands of people involved, and not one of them said, is this a good idea? Like,
okay, but that's the question. Okay, think about it. Do you think they knew? Do you think it was just like, we're going to blow up everything?
I think they thought it was the Coke commercial of give everybody a Coke and hold hands and I think they were doing the modern generation version of that, and they just completely botched.
It was just like groupthink took over.
I think they started with the star rather than the concept. They were like, we want Kendall in a commercial. Let's build a commercial around her. How do we? So you tried to, rather than starting with an idea and saying who fits the idea.
If you've been living under a rock, and literally in case you missed it, this Pepsi commercial that we're talking about was out there for about 24 hours before they yanked it. And it was basically the scene of Kendall Jenner was doing a photo shoot, and there was a disruption outside and a mob, like people were marching down the street kind of supposedly spontaneously in response to something that was happening in their city. And there was a lot of young people and culturally diverse and stuff. And Kendall's watching this from the sidelines because of her shoot. And then she takes off her blonde wig and hands it to a black lady.
It's very real.
And then,
we can stop there.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. And then you go out there and it's implied that this is a Black Lives Matter thing because people are kind of like protesting the police. But then the generic signs and stuff they're holding are like, let's have a conversation.
But then there's random cutaways to like an Asian cello player and like someone who's weird. Like what's evidently like a Muslim woman like looking at photos. Like that has nothing to do with the concept. Right. It was just like, we have to get more people of different races in here, even if it has nothing to do with the concept of this commercial.
So the culmination is there's this hard line of cops, blockading the street, standing there, and the protesters, dead end right up in front of them.
Cops
and
wearing just regular ball caps, by the way. They're not wearing
riot gear.
No. They're not. They're pretty soft.
Very handsome. Very handsome.
Real nice fellas.
And so they're all yelling, let's have a conversation. Just generic stuff. And Kendall Jenner has joined them at this point and is walking defiantly to the front of the line with her can of Pepsi, and she breaks through and hands it to one of the police officers who takes a swig, smiles, and everybody finds peace and happiness because of Pepsi.
Now, that was the only part that I thought was pretty spot on.
I posted a video. Well, we posted a video on the website this week that people can go back and watch, where the day that video went up and was then pulled by Pepsi, a guy went to a city council meeting, which evidently are recorded because they uploaded the video from it. And it was in Portland, Oregon. And he approached, I guess it was like a time of public comment. So like the mayor and all the council members are there. There's like people sitting in the chairs in the audience, and it would serve him to talk. He talks about how, he feels really bad about, people that come and yell and disagree about the Sydney ordinances, and he wanted to do something about it. So he walks up to the mayor right in front of everyone and pulls a Pepsi out of his jacket pocket and literally almost gets tackled and shot right there in front of city council.
What?
But he did it as like joke commentary because, he basically gets up and starts walking towards the mayor.
Right. With his hand in his pocket.
And, the mayor scolds him and tells him what a terrible idea that was to do. But he was just making a point of like, this Pepsi thing is so fundamentally stupid and flawed that, any person in a place of authority is going to feel, threatened in this type of scenario. And the concept is flawed at its very core because of the posture of a lot of people in authority.
Prop, I have to ask you a question. Is there any scenario where any celebrity, anything could have been done production-wise, could have been done to make this commercial work, or was it just never, or does it fall under the category of just like never ever do this?
Yeah, it was over before it started.
It's just so
just everything about it. Like first of all, the idea that you're telling me that the solution to racial and power and tensions between people of power and people that are not of power, the solution is a product. It's that simple. You just got to hand them a soda. Mm-hmm. So that's the message you trying to tell me? You done figured out all of our problems for the last 400 years. It's just give somebody a soda. That's what you're trying to tell me right now.
Not even a good soda.
So like just principally, I'm like, yo, start over, guys.
You know that my
Coke Zero, I could have seen.
Yeah,
things at least be quieting down a little bit.
You know what? A bowl of pozole. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? This is
a really good
that has some cultural
nut.
relevance.
A bowl of candy corns. I mean, just, you know,
candy corn, the dots. You ever had dots?
Everybody likes dots.
I could have seen.
Dude, smoothie.
A hot
tamale.
It's Easter, right. You know? I mean, go around. So, I thought when I saw it, it was a misguided thing where they were almost trying to like recreate that iconic photo from Baton Rouge of the young lady standing up to the police and the protests after the death of Alton Sterling. And it was like, they were on their riot gear and she was standing there peacefully and defiantly. And it just became like an image that captured like a moment in time. Mm-hmm. And I think they were trying to recreate that and cast Kylie Jenner as the girl.
But ironically, that girl was detained.
Yeah, not only that, she was detained. She has a criminal record. And hey, newsflag, that lady was black.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
We're back to that part too. Yeah, that's right. She was.
But I'm saying like.
She was not Kylie Jenner.
But I think that's what they were trying to evoke, but it was like so off on multiple levels.
Yeah.
That girl didn't achieve peace. She got arrested.
I think they were trying
She was not white.
I think they were trying to do like the hippies who put the daisies in the end of the rifle to protest Vietnam War. I think they were like, there was a little bit of that in there too.
Yeah.
Either way, that was actually happening. That was a real thing that somebody did. It's not.
It wasn't co-opted by
right, and it's a daisy. It's not so.
Well, that was the other great SNL moment this weekend. Did you guys see the Beck Bennett sketch?
Oh man,
where
that was amazing.
He played the director of that commercial, and he's basically he's on the set of the commercial as it's taking place, and he gets a phone call from his sister, and he's like, did you guys see the sketch? I don't want to butcher it too much. This is no Louis C.K. stand-up, but anyway, so the premise is he gets a phone call from his sister, and he's explained to her, he's like, listen, big Pepsi spot, I wrote it, directed it, I'm producing it, everything. This is my vision. And he explains it to her, and the rest of the sketch is his face. He's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be about racial harmony, everything. And like, essentially, he's like, eventually he asks, he's
for the first time realizing that somebody.
Yeah. And at one point he goes, do you have any neighbors who are black? I need to talk to them. And you can tell their reaction hilarious. By the look on his face. But it's that epiphany of like, yeah, everyone missed it and thought this was somehow a good idea when any rational outsider is like, this is terrible.
It's crazy. So now that'll do it.
United Airlines proudly serving Pepsi products
to whoever they feel like serving.
Yeah,
it
why
to.
didn't that guy when he's getting dragged off just hand that dude a Pepsi, and that would have solved the soul seating crisis?
It would have solved everything.
Wait! Pick someone else. Here's a Pepsi.
All right, that'll do it for In Case You Missed It. Stay tuned. Up next, Slices. Listening to Goldmyth. The song is Lover's Letdown, which was my high school nickname. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Rye with Nightmare, which was later my high school nickname. Okay, it's time for Slices. What do you have, Jesse?
Okay, I have a twofer, and the first one's going to be really quick, I promise, because I know we got a lot to cover today. But the Isle of Wight Council in the UK recently announced that this big floating bridge ferry, I guess it's like a series of islands, is going to get people from one to the other. It costs a ton of money. It looks super high-tech. And, of course, they made a mistake that the UK as a nation did recently, which was they asked citizens to vote to name the vessel. As you may remember, the UK recently launched a giant research ship that cost hundreds of millions of dollars others. And the public voted fair and square to name it Bodie McBoatface.
Right. Did they actually accept it and name it Bodie McBoatface?
They did not.
They did not.
There's a research sub on the ship that is like one of those little pods that they send down to the reef or whatever to kind of check out those cool deep water stuff. They named that Bodie McBoatface, which
that's a sub, not a boat.
What they were voting on.
Oh,
you know,
terrible.
they were voting. They were voting on the name of the ship itself. So this is tyranny, okay? This is we shouldn't be surprised that a country ruled by king and queen would do such a thing to suppress the democracy. You know, basically tearing up the Magna Carta is what they did there. An area called Isle of Wight in the country did not learn the lesson because they too asked people on Facebook. They were going to create a vote. What should we name this? Because right now it's named Floating Bridge Number 6, and they even conceded. The people that run the area said that's a boring name. We want to crowdsource this. Of course, everyone voted. Almost it was overwhelming that Floating Bridge Number 6 should be renamed Floaty McFloatface.
Of course.
I love the Brits.
So what is the name of this isle? The island when you first started this?
Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear about that. All right.
Yeah, it's in a Beatles song.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've never heard the Beatles.
Yeah, it's Isle of Wight.
I know.
And oddly, since then, I've done some research. They announced that the voting was going to take place this week. They've gone radio silent on the whole vote thing. Since everyone who has been posting on their Facebook page said they are voting Floaty McFloatface. This is redemption, people.
There's one 25-year-old intern that was like, here's what's going to happen if you open this up. And they're like, no, that'll never happen.
No, give him a Pepsi anyway.
Yeah,
nobody
no,
else.
it's gonna
Nobody
work.
will think
Yeah, that's
that.
what I'm saying. That's the same guy that got fired from Pepsi.
Yeah,
That was trying to tell you guys, I'm pretty sure this is a bad idea.
Okay, so that was slice number one. I just had to get that on my chest because I was outraged about the whole Bodie McBoatface thing. And after that happened, this is a little behind the curtain because I feel like enough time has gone by that I can reveal something that happened on the podcast and with that. So after the whole Bodie McBoatface debacle, I was outraged that they didn't go through with it. They ended up naming the vessel the Sir David Attenborough. Am I saying his name right? He's the nature documentary filmmaker. So there was a petition from an activist who, thought it wasn't fair that they were going to name that vessel the Sir David Attenborough because the people had voted Bodie McBoatface. So he created a petition, which was also very popular, that the only way they could make this right was if Sir David Attenborough would do the honorable thing and change his name to Bodie McBoatface.
Amazing.
I believe he's in his 90s and is a very revered figure. I think he's actually a sir there. He's knighted. But what a gesture that would be to democracy if he were to do the honorable and noble thing and recognize the will of the people and change his name. So the man who was leading this campaign, I contacted him privately on Twitter and we exchanged some messages. And I wanted to have him on as a second edition of Outlaw Hero because I felt like this was a story we had to expose. I wanted to get behind the effort to get David Attenborough to change his name to Bodie McBoatface. He's all for it. All of a sudden, he gets scared and he backs out at the last minute. This is true. This is my private correspondence with him. He backs out at the last minute of our arrangement in our interview. I think they were listening in. I think the spy government, they were going Snowden on him. They wanted to squash this thing. And they did. They did. They scared the guy. I haven't been able to get in touch with him since. That is a true story, people. I'm going to be on this Floaty McFloatface thing because the cat's out of the bag now, okay? I've been down the road with Bodie McFloatface. I'm not going to be denied twice. I'm watching you, Isle of Wight City Council. I'm watching.
Oh,
Yo, man, it sounds like we got a new serial podcast coming out of Jesse's life right there.
That's true, guys. That's investigative journalism. That's the nitty gritty.
Yes.
I didn't want to have to get into it, but I did. So it's out there.
All right, what do you have, Eddie?
Okay.
Oh, well, I got one more.
No,
Can I
Jesse's
do
got four more slices.
I thought that was 2. Okay, all right, go ahead.
No, that was just an update. That's how deep this rabbit hole goes, guys.
Oh, wow.
Prop and I'll just do ours next week. It's fine. Keep going.
No. This will be quick. I just thought it was really interesting. The
Sure, it's
show,
gonna be
you
so
guys
great.
remember Lost, which was on years ago now,
Yeah, I
and
couldn't
how
watch it.
disappointing the series finale was. A lot of people felt like it left a lot of questions unanswered. It was very ambiguous. Cameron, Prop, did you guys watch Lost?
I watched it, but I gave up.
Yeah, it was really good and compelling, and then like there was a lull in certain seasons, and then kind of at the last season they tried to tie it all together and wrap it up, and it felt helter-skelter, and it was just oddly paced. And what you find out after the fact is like the show's co-creator Damon Lindelof was there for the first couple of years, and then he wasn't there for a couple of years, and that's when it got strange. And then he came back at the end.
Yeah.
And I think he was trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
Even though most of the storylines that were currently happening were not his original vision.
So it's not like the end was written when they started and they were always getting there. They were trying to save something.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's no good.
What's interesting is this week, Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse, one of the other main creative forces behind it, revealed, I don't know if it's just that enough time has gone by that they're not afraid of consequences, but they've revealed in a new interview, a long interview they did with Entertainment Weekly, that they actually did have a vision almost from the beginning that ABC squashed at the last moment that would have made for a much more satisfying ending, one that actually has some interesting spiritual implications. And so they said that part of the idea that they had when they launched the show was, what if they could make this big symbol that all comes together at the end? The smoke monster, this idea that the island is this bottleneck for all this bad and evil. What if they could make it and explain it through this like almost supernatural volcano that will come into the light in the last big epic season finale? Here's how Damon Lindelof explained it. He said the question was, how do you basically visualize and dramatize the idea that the island itself is all that separates the world from hellfire and damnation? And the answer was the volcano. The volcano had been dormant for the duration of the series, but based on moving into this endgame, the island would have become unstable and the volcano was going to erupt. But we were going to have lots of seismic activity, and ultimately there was going to be this big fight between the forces of good and the forces of evil, which ended up in the series manifesting as Jack and the Man in Black in the midst of magma spewing everywhere. So this big grand vision that had this good versus evil, this idea of like hell trying to come forth that Jack was going to try to stop. And the reason they didn't go through with it is ABC at that point said it was just going to be too expensive to pull off and they need to think of something else.
Two notes about this. One, in the next issue of Relevant, which is at the printer right now, we have an interview with Damon. He is also the co-creator of The Leftovers, the show on HBO that's debuting its final season, and it's about kind of a post-event community of people. Rapture is implied, but and it's interesting, and it explores that human situation and spiritual situation and everything. And while we were interviewing him about that, we're like, well, we have the co-creator of Lost on the phone. We have a few questions. Okay. Mm-hmm. And straight up asked him, what's the deal with the smoke monster? It was never explained. What's the deal with whatever? And he answered him like straight up answered him. And we published the answers in the next issue of Relevant. Like if you're a Lost fan and you were wondering like some of the things that they didn't fully explain, we have a little sidebar on this story, and he laid it out there, and it makes total sense. But aside from that, the back when Lost was first starting, at some event I met a vice president at ABC at a media thing, and we ended up chatting for quite a while. And then when she found out more about Relevant, she was a believer, and she knew about Relevant, and she was telling me, she's like, we just greenlit a show that you're gonna love. And she was describing, she said, these guys came in and they pitched a 5-year vision for this incredible show that was going to be incredibly expensive because they have to go shoot it in Hawaii and all this stuff. And so they pitched the entire 5-year arc and basically needed ABC to commit to seeing the entire vision through, because it wouldn't make sense to like go set up this massive production in Hawaii and then cancel it after a year. You kind of need to like pay it off over 5 years. And so she was describing to me this 5-year arc for the show Lost that they had just greenlit and was in development. And then it comes out and it totally got weird in like seasons 2 and 3. And you find out after the fact, like a character that was supposed to just make a cameo in one episode ended up being popular in the ratings. And so now he's a major character for the next 2 seasons. And like, just it felt like they were just chasing their own tail through the whole thing. And it's exactly what you just said, that it was supposed to be one thing and it started to go another direction. And then the show co-creators left. It said, this isn't the show we signed up to create. It was just a whole mess. And now we know this all in hindsight. And of course, at the time, we're all just confused. What do you have, Eddie?
I would say that as my time as a pastor, my favorite meeting that I ever had was with, and I'm just really calling her out here, because I've never seen her since, but it was a person that didn't go to the church, but really wanted to meet with me. And we sat down in my office and had a great conversation, about 45 minutes. And I was kind of wondering what the point was, but I thought maybe we're just getting to know each other.
Did she want to talk about the ending of Lost?
She had a lot of spiritual questions.
It's actually pretty close, because it was that point.
So the smoke monster, I never got that.
At that point, she opened up her briefcase and pulled out a pack of things to give me that said, "Keep Christ in Christmas." And she wanted me to do a full court press at the church and to give out buttons and magnets.
So she was a traveling salesman for the issue of the War on Christmas.
Of keeping Christ in Christmas. A lot of people have been concerned about this because apparently...
Ironically, the meeting was in April.
Right. That's exactly right. Similarly,
she's just staying ahead of the curve.
You got to plan ahead.
That's the thing. If I've learned about wars on culture wars,
which was good because we were planning on doing only Jingle Bells for our entire Advent season. We ended up going the Jesus route in the church.
Jingle Bell Rock.
I guess in a way I appreciated her, but it reminded me. I was reminded of that meeting when I read this week's slice that I am going to bring you. Every year in Britain, again, we are putting Britain on blast.
Once again.
2 slices in a row.
I'm still pretty mad about this Bodie McBoatface thing. I mean, they deserve it. They have what's coming to them right now.
They have a national Easter egg hunt, which sounds kind of neat.
Yeah.
So it is sponsored by Cadbury, and apparently it's in, I read it, 250 sites owned by the National Trust. It's like a big day where everybody comes out.
All over England.
Yeah, which I think is just lovely. 300,000 children participate in this. So this
Who pays for the eggs?
They're Cadbury.
Cadbury provides them for free.
And you have gotten to the heart of the issue. Because it has been called for a long, long time the Cadbury Easter egg hunt. Presented by the National Trust, kind of a co-branded thing between Cadbury and the National Trust.
Yeah, they provide the land, we provide the eggs, we both get credit.
National Trust, also in a Beatles song. This is really wild.
Wow, sounds like thrilling music.
Yeah, it's really...
Too bad I missed out on it.
So...
Singing about parks and
this year,
islands of white people.
That's pretty much... That's basically the Beatles. I wanted to say you're wrong, but that's why they're awesome. So... Cadbury this year renamed it. They are calling it
Eggy McEggface.
The Cadbury Egg Hunt.
Oh, wow.
What have they removed?
The National Park Service.
They removed East from Easter.
They removed Easter propaganda. That's right.
Easter.
So they are freaking out. People are freaking out and saying that you are taking the Easter out of Easter, which is, I guess, really messed up.
Pagan holiday.
So they blame it on
fertility and eggs. They're taking it out of our...
That's right. They're blaming it on Cadbury. Cadbury's blaming it on the National Trust. Everybody's upset. Someone said, I think the National Trust is what they're doing is frankly ridiculous. Cadbury is saying we're not trying to get rid of the religious overtones of clearly we can't make Easter not about Easter. We were just calling it an egg hunt. We wanted to simplify the branding.
Clearly, I mean, how is it that people don't get the idea that when you find chocolatey Easter eggs and you're running around and there's big people in bunny costume, that doesn't directly relate to the crucifixion and death and resurrection of our Savior? I don't get that. I just don't. How can you disconnect the two?
Right. So in response to this outcry from people feeling like there is, taking Jesus out of this beautiful season, they have quietly gone through the website and started to like add Easter back in and like some of the logos, but they can't redo the whole branding campaign at this point because it's Holy Week. I mean, it's Good Friday.
The logos are locked at this point.
Yeah, you don't have time for this.
No.
You don't understand.
They should have been planning this back in fall.
You can't open Illustrator and put in Easter real quick and email it out. It's impossible to do. Yeah. Anyhow, there's a big uproar about that. And
do Brits really get in a big uproar, or are they just going to go?
Oh yeah, they're just kind of politely.
I never. That's as mad as they get. They say
that's basically
they're slightly incredulous,
exactly,
but they're just going to stuff it down deep down,
hold it
just
down.
Never talk about it again.
That's one of my favorite things about John Oliver's show is he talks about like a British reaction to things and how they basically just eat all their emotions. They just swallow it.
And it all comes out in a soccer riot. Like basically they eat all their emotions until like, a game ends 1-0.
Or they just do a million microaggressions and name stuff like Bodie McBoatface and then Floaty Mc. Yeah. It's just a complete microaggression. It's like there's such suppressed anger.
It is.
Their anger is so suppressed. The only way they can do it in the most subversive ways possible.
Yes.
And that's voting to get vessels named in humorous ways.
And in a world, and I got to tell you, in a world, though, where Easter egg hunts have been canceled, there was another story this week about how a local fire department canceled their Easter egg hunt because parents were so aggressive to get their kids Easter eggs. I will say that if you have ever been to an Easter egg hunt, there is no God in that. It is just a terrible, hot mess where your kids cry and get basically a half a cup of candy and are pretty upset about the entire situation.
It's an absolute picture of depravity and how we train our children to overpower each other and get everything that you want at the cost of your baby sister.
Bingo. And I am actually okay distancing that from the actual Easter branding. I feel like let's call an egg hunt and let's leave Easter in church. That's my hot take.
By the way, why do only kids get to do Easter egg hunts? I think it'd be fun for adults to do.
It's called
if
rugby.
Someone said, hey, listen, there's an adult
adults
Easter
are
egg
doing
hunt.
it. That's the best part. Is like that's the debauchery. The adults actually are doing it because in our culture, some of them eggs got money in them.
Yes.
So,
you can find $2 or $3 in there. That's a nice
putting your kids to work.
All right, what do you have?
Happy Easter, everyone.
Well, what I got is again something that's also indicative to the beauty of having a more diverse host thing here. So after 21 years of people being quiet and developing all kinds of conspiracy theories and rabbit trails and investigative journalism, Suge Knight has finally revealed that he knows who killed Tupac.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
and is consulted and did a lot of consulting for a upcoming documentary that's supposed to lay out the whole thing. Now, a lot of us have seen this documentary already.
You've seen it?
Because some of the things have leaked.
Wow. Ooh.
Huh? Oh man, this is like learning the real ending of Lost. Continue, please.
This is crazy.
It's even better.
Yes. Now, the interesting part about this whole like Suge Knight revealing who killed Tupac is
he did.
So he was in the car, obviously, right? So it was a signed affidavit that he was saying that the shooter was actually gunning for him and not for actually Pac. Pac was sort of an innocent bystander, if you will. But there were two people that were attempting to take over all the sort of power and control of Death Row Records. So here's a statement. He's known for many years that Reggie White Jr. and his ex-wife, Sharitha, were behind the murder of Tupac and attempted to murder Knight. So He said his head of security, who was previously linked to Pac's death by the LAPD director Russell Poole, along with his ex-wife, were all basically conspiring to take over death row. And so the bullets were actually intended for him, but instead they hit Pac. That's what he's saying. Now, keep in mind, this is a man who is facing a life sentence for running over a human.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he ran over the guy, and it's on video. And
yeah, he's
so
really
you ran
brutal.
over a guy, and the judge has decided that I am not moving this case. This is what's happening. So on surveillance camera, we all saw it. Suge Knight ran over a human, right? And then pleaded not guilty. So let's take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're saying there may be some credibility issues there.
Yes, that it is. And I'm somewhat nervous saying this, knowing full well the man is in prison right now. That it was very well known among the streets and among the squares in California that Suge is crazy.
Right.
Like, so the amount of gangsterism that Suge is already a part of in all of the stories, and the tell-alls that people tell about, like, how he, muscled down people for their publishing rights, the wild parties, how he would tie people up in the corner and make fun of them, and during recording sessions, like, from what I know is people are going, it's not that that's true, it's that is understated.
Oh, wow.
It was
really?
far worse.
You've met people that were actually, like, there in those moments where, like, Suge was going crazy.
Yeah. I've known people that were part of, like, the writing teams and stuff like that, and they were like, listen, he's crazy. Wow. So I, on one hand, have no problem believing that somebody was trying to kill him, because there was probably hundreds of people trying to kill him. Mm-hmm. However, I also have no problem believing the reality that there's really no honor among thieves, and a man who's finna face, like, who named his company Death Row, who's now ironically facing death row, would start singing.
Well, I always had a theory over the years. Obviously, famously, he lost Dre, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And my theory was always that there was probably some discussion about Pac getting a little too big for his britches, or Pac thinking about his future, or maybe doing something else, and maybe Suge was, like, trying to, like, wine him and dine him and try to make nice or whatever, but he basically hired a hit against Pac.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm going to squash this. Nobody's going to leave Death Row.
Right.
That was always my assumption. And obviously nobody said that. I just assumed it.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden saying these random people, like, whatever. It's like, I don't know, man. That just doesn't ring true.
It's almost like, if I'm going down, you're going down with me.
But,
like,
Prop,
come on, bro.
What would he have to gain? If he's about to get a life sentence, it's not like they're going to reduce that for him being honest. Like, why wouldn't he just at this point
hip-hop history, that it doesn't
singing?
Like point to him, that he's trying to clear his name in hip-hop history a little bit more?
There's that, or the fact that you are trying to make logical, rational conclusions about a dude that's clearly not logical or rational.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm saying, like, there's we can wax philosophical on a million things. I'm just like, brother's crazy. Yeah. So there's things that he's maybe on some just street laws, like, hey man, if I'm going down, we all going down.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, NT Wright joins us.
I got to tell you, I need you, baby, I love you. I got to tell you, I love you. This hell I'm going through.
You're listening to Bros. Song is Tell Me. This week's feature interview is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, where do you post to find all the best job candidates? If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post them to all the top job sites, and now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to more than 200 job sites, including social media networks.
I didn't know there
with
were
a single click.
Wow, there's 200 of them?
Yeah, apparently. And, well, now all you need is one, though. ZipRecruiter already has 9 million resumes in their database that you can search through. So no juggling emails and calls to your office. You can screen the candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Right now, Relevant Podcast listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/relevant. That's ZipRecruiter.com/relevant. And one more time, to try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/relevant.
And if you're by chance looking for the world's preeminent New Testament theologian, we may have somebody for you.
N.T. Wright is a retired Anglican bishop, scholar, and professor at St. Andrews University in Scotland. In his latest book, The Day the Revolution Began, he looks at how modern Christians misunderstand the crucifixion and why re-examining it can help reshape your faith. We recently spoke with N.T. Wright about the book and the true meaning of Good Friday and Easter weekend. We had a conversation that we published in the current issue of Relevant. Here is another part of...
I mean, the book's 800 pages long, I think. I really want to get it. I'm excited. He is the best.
Well, you better read it like this weekend or else it'll just... Yeah. You got to wait till next year. You can't listen to Christmas music when it's not Christmas.
Yeah, but Easter is past, present, and future, so we can always get to it.
Amen.
I'll learn about that in the intro of the book, I assume.
The resurrection's always relevant, bro.
That's true.
Boom.
Well, because he now lives in my heart, right?
N.T. Wright?
Yeah. Cameron, that is why I eat Cadbury eggs.
But you know what? Seriously, folks.
Yeah.
N.T. Wright is brilliant.
Oh yeah.
He is a brilliant. I really feel like he's a gift to the body, man. He really is.
I was on a trip one time in England, and we got the opportunity. It was a group of pastors, and then me, and we got the opportunity of having breakfast with him.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of an open dialogue, just kind of whatever questions, you know. And it was like drinking from a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like you're just jaws on the floor with his wisdom and his insight, and it's just unbelievable.
The pure depth of his knowledge. I mean, the extent to which he knows and has commented on the breadth of the Bible is almost historically unparalleled. It's amazing that we're sort of, I mean, I don't want to exalt him as a god, but it's like crazy that we're living in his time where we're watching him create because these things that he's putting out.
You would say that when we look back, when historians look back at this era and his writings, it would be C.S. Lewis, it would be
he goes into the pantheon of the greats.
Okay.
Like of the greats of all time. And he's said things that some people have disagreed with, and he's fairly outspoken egalitarian, which some people disagree with, and all those kinds.
And a massive Don Rickles fan, oddly.
Huge, his number one fan. Takes a lot of his quotes as his own, which is actually pretty disturbing in Tom's writing.
And big University of Mississippi football fan too. I don't know.
Yeah,
praise the Lord.
Ole Miss.
Yeah. Tom Wright gave me a Pepsi.
Here is N.T. Wright.
Tell me a little bit of why you wanted to write about the crucifixion.
Well, I have been both in the practice of ministry, pastoral and preaching for many years, and I've also been obviously a teacher of theology for many years. And again and again in other books and articles I've written, I have had a section on the meaning of the cross, but I've never actually set it out and said, here's actually the big picture of all that. And a few years ago, as you probably know, I wrote a book on the resurrection of the Son of God. Well, I say a few years ago, it's actually 14 years ago now. And I always meant to follow that quite quickly with a balancing book, as it were, on the meaning of the cross. And I was distracted by other things, like a new job and so on. And I always had in the back of my mind, sooner or later, I have to come back and lay this out properly. And I actually didn't know what I would find when I did, because I suspected that when I actually set the whole thing out, new ideas would come and I would see fresh insights into bits of scripture. And that is indeed what happened. So it's been a very exciting journey for me, because I haven't changed my mind about any of the big things, but the larger picture and the way it fits together has come quite freshly to me.
When you started researching the crucifixion, what was the big aha moment that surprised you, that kind of made you realize maybe you were framing it in a different light than it actually was in the Gospels?
Yeah. I think, well, when you say in the Gospels, that's part of the exciting thing, that so many books about the atonement and the cross actually don't spend very much time with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They tend to go for Paul, they tend to go for Hebrews, they tend to jump to Athanasius or Augustine or Calvin or whoever, and that's fine, but Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were then treated as simply providing the backstory for, the fact Jesus was crucified, so he had a trial, and they took him to his cross and nailed him there, and now let's go to Paul to find out what it means. And actually the Gospels themselves are telling us what it means in 100 different ways, which we've tended in the Western tradition, I think actually all the Christian tradition, to screen out, particularly the idea, which then fits with some of the classic theories of atonement, but I've not seen it worked out like this. The idea which the Gospels give you, that as Jesus is born and as Jesus is announcing the kingdom and as he's going about doing what he does, showing this is what it looks like when God is becoming king, then evil converges on him, whether it's Herod plotting against his life when he's a baby, whether it's the Pharisees and Sadducees and Herodians plotting against him, whether it's the devil tempting him, whether it's tormented souls screaming at him in the graveyards or the synagogues. There's a sense of evil converging upon this one man doing this kingdom task, until finally in Luke's gospel he says when they arrest him, "This is your hour and the power of darkness." And you see that in John in different ways as well. And it is as though, and I say that because it's mysterious and scary, it is as though the forces of evil, which are dark and shadowy, and they don't have good language for that any more than we do, but there's a sense of the presence and power of evil, it's coming together and doing its worst, and it dumps on Jesus, and Jesus exhausts its force. And you can see this then remarkably, actually, in the book of Acts, chapter 4, where the disciples have been threatened by the chief priests, and they come back and they pray Psalm 2, and Psalm 2 starts off with the nations raging against the Lord and his anointed, and they say, yep, that's what happened, Herod and Pilate here in this city with the chief priests and the elders, and they all got together and to put Jesus to death. But God has vindicated him, and they see this as the Psalm 2 moment, the fact that evil has done its worst and has been defeated. So I suppose what I've seen there is a Gospels and Acts-based reading of what is sometimes called the Christus Victor theme, the victory over the powers of evil. But what that then also has given me is an integration of that theory of Christ winning the victory over the powers with the means by which it happens, which is basically a version of penal substitution. And there are different versions of penal substitution, but the one which you find in Scripture is the one which says this is where the entire scriptural story comes together, and Jesus, as the representative of Israel and the human race, stands in for the rest of us and takes the weight of evil onto himself. So it's a combination. So that was really what opened it up for me, the fact that these theories ought not to be played off against one another, as has often been done in the past, but actually they belong together and they're mutually reinforcing. And you get to that from the Gospels, and then when you go to Paul, you see, of course, much of the same, but developed in particular different contexts. But that was really exciting for me, seeing that whole train of thought in the Gospels.
So one of the interesting things about the book is it's called, for people who haven't seen it yet, the day the revolution began. And when you talking about the cross in terms of revolution is a really interesting way to frame it. Why did you want to use that word and position it as a revolutionary moment?
Well, I think a lot of Christians fail to appreciate what the New Testament says again and again, that by sunset on Good Friday, the day Jesus died, something in the whole world had changed radically. Something had happened as a result of which the world was a different place. Now, nobody realized that day. the disciples were not sitting around beside the cross saying, well, this is all very unpleasant, but at least he's now died for the sins of the world, so that's all right. They weren't saying that at all. They were saying, oh my goodness, we backed the wrong guy and we're in trouble and we better hide and get out of town quick and so on. But then with Easter, with the resurrection of Jesus, they began to realize, though it was such a shock they had to work it all out and read the scriptures and so on, they began to realize that Easter itself happened because death was defeated on Good Friday. And therefore, if death had been defeated, sin was defeated, and therefore a whole new world had been born. So the idea then of something happening as a result of which the world is a different place, this is revolutionary. In other words, it isn't just about a system or good advice on how to get to heaven or some sort of little spiritual trick that enables certain things to happen. This is cosmic. And then all the other things that we want to say about the cross happen within that picture. So it's a global revolution. And the task of the Christians in our day is to hang on to that vision, because the world around us is constantly just saying, oh, well, you know, the cross, it's a nice symbol of self-sacrifice or something like that. It isn't just it is a symbol, but it isn't just a symbol. It's a one-off event in the middle of human history, as a result of which the world is a different place.
That was N.T. Wright. Stay tuned. Up next, Drew Holcomb joins us.
But this leg got your final fantasy. Couple $100,000, we can find your fantasy. Couple $100,000, we can find a Pharisee. Had to leave the genre just to find my family. Had to leave the genre just to find some worship. This is me divided between my pride and purpose. This is me responding to my God in worship. This is just a body filled with God the person. New slaves up the noose hanging, new slang, but the truth's changing. I'm Bruce Wayne, but you can find me toasted in the dark side. I'm staring out the window, looking for the light from the signal. There go, look, there's my hero. It's rest on my ring, blood-stained gazebo. What's yours is mine, a Cherokee casino. We locking up Ryan Lochte back in Rio. I've been in the clouds. When I touch down in your city, better try to slow it down, but I can't stop, homie. I've been on a hands in the sky. Every time we gone, and they always gotta keep your hands hot, hot, hot.
You're listening to Taylor Gray and Tragic Hero. The song is Amistad. It's on Taylor's new album, which we brought to your attention a couple weeks ago here on the show. Yeah. Big fans.
Yeah, awesome.
Get those Spotify numbers up for him. He's good.
Yeah. And he's like just a phenomenal human.
Oh, man, that makes it so much better.
Taylor Gray, everybody. On their latest album, Souvenir, Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors blend their signature Americana sensibilities with songs about social issues, love, and even the open road, which they're singing this song and then like Mr. T just goes screaming by in a van. It's, odd.
The thing is, when Mr. T goes flying down the highway at 150 miles an hour, he literally screams with the window down the whole time. You just hear, it's pretty incredible. I mean, for like 4 straight hours.
We recently spoke with Drew, who walks us through some of the album's standout tracks. Here is Drew Holcomb.
Maybe one more kiss word, sing me one more song. Baby, let's forget the world. I'll hold you all night long till the morning song.
Okay, so Fight for Love is a great story. I wrote this record, a lot of it with my bandmates, Rich and Nathan. So Rich sent this song idea with this kind of, it sort of had a verse and then one line of a chorus. And he sent in, what makes the sun go down, what makes the world spin around, it's time we can't have back that we need the most. And then he sang the You Gotta Fight for Love thing. And immediately I thought, oh, actually, I love this. And I started tinkering with it on my end. So from there, I just kind of did some rearranging. And that line that really struck me, it's the time we can't have back that we need the most, I thought was a great place for us to sort of build a song about sort of how do you move on from regret into like building something constructive. And I think that so much of music is sort of deconstructive in a way. It's a way to sort of acknowledge both the problems in the world and in your own life, and but a lot of times they kind of leave you with nowhere to go from there. And I've always sort of wanted to find a way forward to sort of acknowledge the struggle, but then not leave it at the struggle always. And so this is one that we sort of built into this, kind of using a romantic idea as a vessel for a bigger idea about how in life and in a relationship, you know, love is not something you just wait around on. You have to actually get up and go after it and fight for it and work for it.
You gotta fight for love. Fight for what you're dreaming of. You gotta fight for love. You gotta fight for love. Baby, it's a cry.
Some of the songs I really love don't necessarily have a chorus. They more have like a refrain. And so this is a very like particularly kind of thought through structure of a song. I wanted to have it be just like 5 or 6 verses, with each verse sort of building on the next verse, with each verse ending in the same refrain. And I had came up with this line: "It's a new year, it's a new song, it's the same mystery." And I started looking back at, we have an annual New Year's gathering of close friends at our house. And it's sort of one of these deals where there's like people in the house and people gathered in the kitchen and people sitting around the fire and food and beverages. And, you know, I was thinking about different people, you know, what is that like? So there's fireside conversations, bourbon on our breath, laughter in the kitchen, children make a mess. You know, front porch, backyard tragedy in between. That idea that like there's this beauty and tragedy happening at home, in everyone's home all the time. Love and loss and laughter. And in our particular community and the people that are in that house at that time, there had been just a sorrowful year. 2016, 2015 really was just a friend with cancer, friends that lost a young child. Divorce, just the tough things, real life, you know, things that kind of make you sort of think through this like passage of time that you can't stop. You know, New Year's is sort of this happy but sort of melancholy reminder that you're just getting older and you do the best you can every year.
Make a mess. From the front porch to the backyard, the tragedy in between. It's a new year, it's a new song, it's the same mystery. We talk about your brother, stories left unheard. You share blood, but you don't share words.
All right, so I've got a 4-year-old daughter, and this is a song that I wrote with my guitar player about her. His name's Nathan Duggar. She calls him Doug. And her name is Emmy Lou. Yeah, so she's 4.5. She's a little younger than 4 when we wrote this song. And this song started as sort of this like John Prine sort of, you know, kind of train song. Just about her, you know, your mama's sunshine, your daddy's rain. My wife is a very like extroverted sunshine type personality. And I tend to be more the stoic sort of glass is half full. So she's a little bit of both, you know, my daughter is. And this is a song just about all the different things about her. So, you know, I think it's a hard thing as a songwriter to like, you know, this impetus to want to be sort of universal and cool in your writing, that you want your songs to relate to people that may not be in your same life stage. But I found that for me, writing about where you are in and of itself becomes universal because the particular becomes relatable. You know, when you try to universalize everything, it sort of doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any context. So this song is all about this particular moment for me as a as a dad of a 4-year-old daughter. You know, so we're talking about like, you act just like your father, you laugh at your own jokes. You know, that's my daughter. She'll tell a joke and laugh before you have an opportunity to. You know, she writes on the wall, you know, we don't need no Mona Lisa, don't need Dali or Chagall. Trying to, you know, just use these different cultural things that you know you love as an adult and compare them, relate them to your kid. And then really my favorite line of the song is, when you're all grown up, no longer a pup, going out into the great unknown, you'll find a little piece of you that you can call your own. So it's sort of a juxtaposition with her being her mama's sunshine or daddy's rain. Yeah, you're not just those two things. You're also your own person. and I can't wait to see who you become.
All day long, right or wrong, you question everything. Why the grass is green, can I stay up late, and why do the bluebirds sing? Sometimes you cry your big blue eyes for no discernible reason. Your point of view, it comes and goes like the changing of the seasons. You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. You're like a piece of heaven in a hurricane. It's bubbling over like a sweet champagne. You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain.
That was Drew Holcomb. Stay tuned. Up next, Open Doors is Kristen Wright joins us.
Couldn't bear to spend another day without you. I've got to catch you. Freezing rain can't keep me away from your door, from your door. What if the sun don't shine? Well, then the birds won't sing. Just in the blizzard came, covered you half the world away. Now I'm stuck in this place without you, thinking what should I do? All I knew, I couldn't wait one more night. And if this plane won't fly, then I'll ride, 'cause I've got to catch you.
You're listening to Future Islands. The song is North Star. This past weekend, a pair of bombings killed hundreds of Christian worshipers in Egypt who were gathered in churches, Coptic churches, celebrating Palm Sunday. We recently spoke with Kristen Wright, the director of advocacy at the group Open Doors USA, about the bombing, the persecution and dangers facing Christians in the country, and how people can get involved to help. This is ISIS's next big thing, is just going to start targeting Christians even more intentionally than they have in the past. I was listening to NPR yesterday, and they were talking about what an underreported thing this is right now. So here you go. Here is Kristen Wright.
This past weekend, there were dozens of worshipers at churches on Palm Sunday in Egypt that were the victims of, just these horrific bombings. Can you explain a little bit about what happened there?
Unfortunately, on Sunday, as Christians attended services, then there were two different bombings resulting in the deaths of dozens of people. And I believe that the most recent numbers are that there's hundreds that are injured. We've been still receiving different reports on it, but at least over 100 injured. And so just this tragedy, we heard from our own offices. We have, of course, work on the ground in Egypt, and just saying that the tragedy at St. George's Church in Tanta. This is one of the large Delta cities in the north of Egypt, which I think at one point the numbers were 27 dead and then tens of injured Christians. And our partners on the ground are telling us just very hard to concentrate, very hard to focus with something this tragic. It sort of just blindsides the Christian community there. However, attacks against Christians in Egypt are not unusual. This has happened before. It happened only a few months ago. But before I get into that, there was a second blast that then affected at St. Mark's Church in Alexandria. And then more people lost their lives, and this was also caused by a suicide attack. And so we've been hearing from our partners just to please pray for Egypt, please pray for the Christians in Egypt, and then the name of God would also be glorified even in the midst of this death and devastation.
What is the situation like for the Christian population in Egypt? How much? I know that they're a religious minority, but for everyday life as a Christian in Egypt, what is it like there?
Well, there are approximately just over 9 million Christians in Egypt. And this is in a population of 95 million. So you're looking at right about 10% of the population. Most Egyptian Christians are Coptic Christians. This is of course, an ancient Christian community that has existed for a very long time. It's a large minority when you look at the numbers of minority Christians in other places throughout the area of like the Middle East and North Africa. But while they've faced a lot of great difficulties, they've also in the past been tolerated because of their demographic size, the historical significance. But we're seeing some changes, in recent years as Christians are being violently targeted and these horrifying attacks are taking place. There is a small community of Muslim background believers as well in Egypt, and that's a community that Open Doors also works with, although we are also very involved with the Coptic Church. Some of the ways that Open Doors works to help Christians in Egypt is through literacy training, women's empowerment ministry. That's a big one. We see where women are sort of twice victimized. Christian women are sort of twice victimized because they face difficulties because of their gender and then also because of their faith in Christ. And so we hear terrible accounts of kidnappings, of rape, of forced marriage, and Open Doors is very active in working to assist those women who have faced horrifying situations like that and work in the area of women's empowerment. We also have youth ministry. I think I mentioned literacy training, and advocacy is a big part of that as well, working to assist the Christian community. They're a resilient community, but they're facing so much right now that I think it's really important now more than ever for them to know that Christians around the world are standing with them in this hour of horror and of tragedy. You can read more about this story, but you can also read more about the ways that Open Doors is working to address the situation of persecuted Christians in Egypt by visiting opendoorsusa.org. Also, on the website, you can visit the World Watch List, and this is a resource that has a lot of information about each of the individual countries where Christians face the most severe persecution. You can also find advocacy opportunities, and again, that's at opendoorsusa.org.
That was Kristen Wright. Stay tuned. Up next, your feedback. Listening to Holy Holy, which was also my high school nickname. The song is Elevator, not the Outkast version, but Holy Holy's version. Okay, it's time for your feedback. So last week, our question of the week, I don't know how we got talking about this, but
it was Science Mike's.
Science Mike, it's his fault.
Yeah.
But, we basically talking about how our economy, the discussion about our economy changing is a lot of people are talking about immigration issues affecting the economy and taking jobs from Americans. But the reality is that when you want to go down the road the next 5, 10, 20 years, the vast majority of jobs that sustain our economy are going to be automated and taken over by robots. So we got talking about what jobs are kind of robot proof, because robots could kind of do most things that we are now employed to do. So we wanted to ask you guys. So the question of the week last week was, what job are you going to do in the future that a robot could never do? You guys hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, and you posted on the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com. Here's a few of our favorites.
What's really weird about this before we dig in is literally this week, the NPR show Marketplace is doing a segment on robot-proof jobs.
Once again, Marketplace is lifting our ideas.
Okay, speaking of lifting ideas, I don't want to ignore the question of the week. I'm going to start reading some. I want to thank Philip Wiebe real quick on Twitter, who raised our attention to a joke that is very, very much like a joke that we told on the podcast like 2 weeks ago. Did you guys see this?
What is this? What?
It's from Zach Lowe, the NBA writer, the Lowe Post column. You're familiar with Zach Lowe, right, Cameron?
Yeah, I love his stuff, yeah. Except he says terrible, terrible things about the Magic, so I don't really read him anymore.
Magic has always said that, or just lately?
No, just since they deserved it.
Yeah, just
since about 2010.
Wait. Can you back that up again? Yeah, he's been saying terrible things about the Magic because they deserve it.
Right.
So
I don't need that negativity in my life. I'm not going to read them.
Right. I'm just going to.
I know that they're bad. I know how bad they are. I don't need some national columnist who doesn't watch every game like I do to tell me how bad they are. I know how they're bad.
So his Zach Lowe's official title is senior ESPN writer. He's got like 500,000 Twitter followers, and here is what he tweeted.
Okay.
And I'm not saying he took this from us. I'm just saying it's a weird joke to post.
Okay.
Lucky enough to be around NBA players/coaches, yet when I see a weatherman at the ABC office, I'm like, oh my gosh, the weatherman, all caps. Should I say hi, all caps?
Yep,
exactly.
That's literally a joke we told, except if you switch out players/coaches for musicians and celebrities, and the ABC office is for the grocery store, that's our joke. Right. I'm not saying he took it, but that's a weird joke to make. Does anyone else think that's weird?
I would just want to say, Zach, thanks so much. We are glad you're a fan of the show.
Listening. It's great. And stop saying what you said about the Magic.
Roll out those receipts. Roll your receipts out, Jesse. Roll them out.
That's right.
Exactly, man. Royalties on that, dude.
Zach, while you're listening, the Magic are going to turn around this summer. We have a plan, and you just
it was tweeted on a whiteboard for everyone to see. We have a plan, Zach.
Oh man,
I just want you to know, Cameron, from a Magic fan to a Laker fan, you gotta just not say things like that.
I know.
Just kind of like.
I'm kidding. The Magic have no plan. They're going to clean house. They're going to start over yet again. And Zach Lowe is going to write all these mean columns about us.
A fan of one of the greatest sports franchises of all time.
Yeah.
Between the Lakers and the Magic, there's like a 30% chance one of those teams is getting Lonzo Ball. So there's at least that to hope for.
There you go.
That is true.
So what job are you going to do in the future that a robot could never do? Now, Jesse, before we answer these, I actually have some robot news. This is a literal thing from today in the office. We're making some changes, reorganizing a little bit. We're moving offices, as you know, in the next month and a half or 2 months. And as part of that, I've been working with the team on setting up our new kind of tech infrastructure and all the digital things to keep us communicating and transparency and aware of what's going on, and TVs and video conferencing, and just simplifying and reimagining our scalable future. Okay.
No, I get it. Okay. Apple TVs everywhere.
Or something other than that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We're kicking the tires on all the
constant streaming of Propaganda's music so that my Spotify numbers go up. I mean, it's
you and Taylor Gray.
There's going to be Pepsi machines in all the meeting rooms, just in case things get a little heated.
Well, no, that one special room where you take people for conflict resolution and like maybe firings and stuff. Yeah. There'll be a Pepsi machine in there.
Listen, things just aren't working out. You'll land on your feet. I know you're upset, but listen.
I slide the Pepsi can across the table to him.
Right, just look him dead in the eye and just slide him the
can. So this morning we're in this, yet another meeting. We're actually looking at new phone and VoIP systems and video conferencing things.
That's a whole thing.
And really, one of the key things is Jesse is number 2 at the company. He's one of our core leaders, and he's in another state. We need to make sure our tech is easy to use and on point, and he can collaborate with everybody easily.
Right.
And literally came across, while we were looking at some tech solutions, a robot on wheels with a little iPad face that Jesse can control.
No.
He can tilt it up and down and move it and look to the left and right.
This is like the Arrested Development guy.
Yes, but hold on.
That's what I told Cameron on Slack. I was like, it's a robot surrogate.
So somebody mentioned it, and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, Segways are like $5,000, so I'm not going to pay, like, that's just stupid money, right? I'm not going to do that. And they sent me a link, and this robot, which has wheels, it can be remotely controlled, and the head is an iPad, is $699. That is like a computer.
Oh, it is. And my face will be on the iPad, and I want to dress him, Cameron. I didn't tell that, but I want to have little robot clothes.
Dude, Jesse's like, oh, hey, where's Jesse? I'm looking for him. Oh, he's in a meeting with Amy. And I walk in there and just talk to him for a minute. Or like he like rolls over to my desk, or like he's in here at the podcast with us. His little head is sitting over there with the mic.
I want to get little jeans, like a t-shirt, little Vans, and like literally, I want people to forget it's not me eventually.
It looks kind of like a Roomba on the base with like a pole. It's all white and looks all .com-y, and there's a pole and there's a little iPad at the top, and it's totally remote controlled, and it can go anywhere. And the good thing about our new space is it's wide open, no walls. We're doing very open, so he kind of meander all over the office and talk to people.
I want people to take me to lunch with him and stuff. Hey guys, I'm gonna scoot in Cameron's office. Hey man, where do you want to go today?
How long?
Oh my gosh, your robot's gonna be like the most annoying guy in the office right now.
Well, the thing is like,
what are you guys doing?
The reviews were like how quiet it is. Like the only problem with it is it's so quiet that employees could walk around the corner and not know that it's there and like bump into it, right? And I'm just thinking, like, all of a sudden you're just working, you're just over there working, you just feel like you're being watched, and over your shoulder you hear the screen get tilted just slightly. Like, and then like you look to your left and there's Jesse's face looking over your shoulder. That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to roll into Cameron's office and be like, hey man, did you still got an extra ticket for the Magic game tonight?
And then I go with you.
Yeah, exactly. Literally
that would be the saddest thing.
Dude, I for real it is a line item in our tech budget for the move. Like I'm trying to preserve it. Now, if I have to start chopping, it's on the chopping block. But right now, it's in the working budget.
That's hilarious.
I was going to say, and I would hope it's like midway. It's not. I'm not saying it should be at the top of the list, but it's not at the bottom.
No, it's above the Pepsi machine.
It's above the Pepsi
below
machine.
The phones.
Above quote unquote
wait.
Aaron's new working computer. He'll be fine. Just get the robot.
This is a really amazing idea. I don't even
Clearly, you don't value conflict resolution if you put the thing above.
No. Jesse will be in there. He'll be the conflict resolution.
Oh, yeah. So you could get it sponsored by Pepsi.
Yeah.
Right.
Why don't you dress it in Pepsi?
Right.
Or give me like over the years, we can get upgrades for it, like a little Pepsi dispenser or something.
Yeah, that's true. Because like back, like the robots from like the 80s, they would like bring you drinks and stuff from your fridge. It's about all they could do, like the little toy robots. We could just kind of combine the two.
I'm glad robotics like industry abandoned trying to make them look like humans.
Yeah,
and just was like, that's ridiculous. We can't do this. Yeah, here's a poll with the iPad.
If you want to Google the visual, it's called the Padbot UI Telepresence Robot.
Cameron, if I were willing to throw in some of my own money, would I be willing to give myself the power of flight by attaching a drone to this? So if like things get really heated, I'm like, guys, I just need a minute. I literally just fly away from it. Where'd Jesse go? He's taking a flight over downtown.
We'll be in the heart of downtown. You can just, take, yeah.
I'm really, we got a lot of options for these new cover lines. I just need to really clear the head. I'm going for a short flight. I'm going to, I'll be
this is why for every other employee this was a great idea, but Jesse is not. It's not like, oh good, I'll be able to attend that meeting.
I fly down there just to modify
it
one day. Like I spent a whole day modifying it with cool laser pointers and drones.
I also want you to know that every time I see Jesse, I'm just gonna push him over so that the next person that walks by is like, it's just Jesse going like, hey guys. Hey, can somebody
tilt me up
over here?
Hey, Eddie's locked me in a bathroom stall, and the one thing this robot can't do, it doesn't have a thumb, so I'm really stuck in here.
I will never ever not do that. So, worth every penny. I'm on board. Yeah,
I'm working from the stall again today. Thanks a lot, Eddie. if you guys would have given me the power of flight, this wouldn't have been a problem.
Oh man, there you go. Okay, so question League, what are the jobs that you're going to do for your future? Because like if the robots take all of our jobs in the next 10 years, you still got to make some money and support your family. So these are things you need to be working on now, preparing yourself for the inevitable robot future. So what are the careers that you're going to try and do that robots can't?
I would like to say that I believe that Jeremy Copeland, our friend, has found kind of a flap in the universe and may have given us the perfect answer.
I believe that was the island from Lost, the flap in the universe.
That's right. Jeremy Copeland said, robot impersonator. By definition, it can't be done by a robot.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a huge job market for that too. So good job, Andrew.
Nailed it, Jeremy.
I was on ZipRecruiter. There's a whole category for robot impersonators.
Well, in the future,
the robot was like, eat. That's funny.
So you're a robot.
You're the Don Rickles of robot impersonators.
Yeah.
Really just.
I know, right?
That was actually really mean in Robot, what you just said.
It was very racist, like Don Rickles level racist.
Yeah. Brian said, "My current job is fire sprinkler systems salesman. It is too boring for even robots to want to take the job."
Oh, so he's robot future proof by having a super boring job.
Some of these things I'm actually saying I could actually see robots doing, like Mitchell that said robot repair. I could totally see that automized.
Yeah, of course it would be. Yeah. You think in the Wall-E spaceship, there's humans fixing the machines?
No way.
It's robots fixing the machines.
Fix themselves.
Yeah.
That's how they...
Also, not, again, I feel like, robot assassin. That could totally happen. But someone has to be in charge for taking out you're an assassin of robots. It's not an assassin that is a robot.
Yeah.
Because that's very possible.
Yeah, but that's also a job that could be taken over by robots.
To assassinate other robots.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, how did Suge Knight
this is just in case the
yeah.
robots are getting out of control. Well, like Terminator was a robot assassin. Yeah.
But he was a robot assassin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're right.
Derek Cormel wrote, I work for Young Life, and no robot is going to want the pay that they pay us to do what we do. So I thought, when I started reading the sentence, I thought, oh, Derek, yeah, that's sweet, because you're like a ministry, like meeting kids where they're at and connecting with kids. Nope, he just doesn't get paid enough right now, and he thinks
you wouldn't be able to maintain the robot for what they pay me,
right? Yeah. But like, you don't even have to pay robots because they just make their own money. But I don't know. There's a lot of flaws in the logic, Derek. But I also think no one could take your job. You're doing a good job with Young Life.
That is true. The job of love.
Of love.
PC Walker. This isn't about the robot.
He already is a robot.
Address.
His name is PC.
Hi-oh.
Yeah, exactly. This is a robot sending me
literally, he's a walking PC. That is by definition a robot. PC Walker.
His name is just very
descriptive. You need to do some ancestry look, man. You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna
do some ancestry work, PC. There might be a goose egg or an Easter egg hidden in your name, bro.
There is one person.
His name's
the future naming conventions for these robots will be PC Walker, PC Roller, PC Stationary, and
Mac.
And Mac.
Yeah, it's like the medieval days when you were like hat maker or miller or whatever, you know?
Yeah, blacksmith.
Okay, so PC Walker posted a piece of feedback that didn't have anything to do with the question, but it was so great, I'm going to say it anyway. For people that voted in our Oscars.biz awards a few weeks ago, they will remember one of the Vine videos that was featured in the RIP tribute Vine category was a short video clip of a pastor at a funeral releasing a dove high into the air. But it, at some point upon the release, died and fell dramatically to the ground at the funeral.
Best Vine of all time.
Of all time.
PC Walker posted a link to another video, which I just clicked on, and it's now disabled. But I watched this video in another form earlier today. So it does exist out there. So we'll find it and try to update the podcast page. It is of another funeral where doves are being released. But the funeral is taking place right near like an interstate, like feet away, you know? So a couple doves are releasing, spoiler alert, 2 of the doves fly directly into oncoming traffic and are hit by a very fast, it's probably Mr. T's van. It flew by the screen. Yeah. Literally all you see is a poof of white feathers and an audible gasp over the funeral.
And the guy just screaming.
That was probably the funniest part to me was everybody's responses.
So thanks, PC War. Yeah, the video's on YouTube.
We did not need that.
The video title is White Dove at Funeral Gets Hit by Truck.
Pretty on the nose, but, you know, they're not worried about marketing. They're just trying to get views.
Good SEO there.
All right. That'll do it for last week's feedback. It's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
Okay, let me see if I can phrase this right. So we learned this week that Pepsi set out to solve, I think, racism.
And I would say mission accomplished.
Right. So we think that's what they were going for. But, you know, we think that's what they're going for. So we figured we would help these marketing and PR companies with other possible commercial ideas that they could pitch to brands. So what we want from you is some ideas. Let's crowdsource this thing. If we learned anything from the Brits, crowdsourcing is the best way to go. So we want to know a product and the problem that product would unexpectedly solve.
Yeah, like, you know, Folgers crystals will solve gender inequality. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well, and
It's so funny. How are you reading my mind?
the logical,
It's like crazy.
the logical question would be, how does Folgers solve gender inequality? So you need to tell us that too. So
yeah, totally.
This is a chance for listeners to really flex their creative muscles here, because a couple of these good jokes
and
are gonna get
social
read.
justice
How
muscles,
the commercial
man.
would play out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So brand, problem that it's going to try and solve, and this is how it's going to solve it in the commercial.
I love this because somebody said right before when we were thinking of the question, what could go wrong? Here we go.
No quoting Don Rickles. That's all we ask through the entire submission process.
I would say, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. You might not want to put that on Twitter. You can post your comments on the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com, and we will try to read our favorites on the show next week.
That's going to be fascinating.
Oh, man. Either it's going to be great or completely terrible, or nobody's going to answer this at all. Like, nobody's going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I really don't know. There's no in between. It's either great, horrible, or silent.
But we're going to discover you have some like real marketing geniuses out there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I hear there's an opening at Pepsi's firm. So
clearly.
They got a bunch of openings. They got a whole department.
Well, many thanks to our show's sponsors for making this episode possible. Remember, you can go to HelloFresh.com and enter promo code Relevant30 when you subscribe to get $30 off your first week of deliveries. I am very excited about my evening tonight because I'm going to make a HelloFresh box. If you're looking to hire great qualified candidates, go to ZipRecruiter.com/relevant to try their service for free and post your openings to over 200 job sites. Thanks also to our guests for joining us. Make sure to check out N.T. Wright's new book, The Day the Revolution Began, and I would say read it this weekend. Also, thanks to Drew Holcomb for joining us. The Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors' new album, Souvenir, is out now. Go check it out. And thanks also to Kristen Wright for joining us. Go to opendoorusa.org to learn more about what they are doing. Hey, while you're on the internet, head over to relevantmagazine.com. You can check out the new website, the new design. Every week we keep adding features and improvements to it. And also, while you're there, subscribe to the magazine. The redesign is out now. The second issue of the redesign is at the printer, and it has that Damon Lindelof interview that we were telling you about. You won't want to miss that if you want to know what the deal was with the smoke monster.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this new issue preview coming in the coming weeks, because this is a fun issue with lots of interesting stuff like that to talk about.
Yep, and a very unexpected cover. Very unexpected.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen it. Usually it's right up there.
And I know. I hide it. Because you always leak it. You always tweet stuff.
I do?
It's like the documentary, the Suge Knight documentary. I mean, it's like some guys just leaking stuff.
No, I understand what you mean.
I take the cover down.
But I am curious. Can you give us a little hint?
It says the future is here, and it's the robot on a stick with wheels guy.
Yeah.
With Jesse's face on an iPad.
Yeah. Once again, my suggestion for Grover on the cover has been ignored.
Right.
One of these years.
We're going to stick with humans for now. Or Jesse's the future is here robot.
Or my hybrid robot man. Yes.
That you put jeans on for some reason.
It's only one leg Gene though, because he's just like a pole.
So it's like a skinny
solves a pair of pants problem.
Right.
Right.
So a pair of like just very sensible Lee dungarees on your little robot.
Just that he sewed the legs together to make one hole.
It's almost like a denim skirt. It's really not coming together.
Singular.
Well. Cameron, I'm just trying to humanize it. I feel like it's going to be unsettling if I'm just wheeling into offices like a robot. I feel like if it's wearing human clothes, people will treat it more humanely.
Right. And if you like go human places, like it's just one day you walk in and it's rolling out of the kitchen, you're like, what in
the meeting
Why would
that
you
I
have
was
been
in,
there?
You hear a toilet flush and you see my robot roll out. Again, I want people to be very comfortable with this.
What on God's green earth was he doing?
The meeting that I was in where I found this, Jesse wasn't part of that meeting, but I was really talking to a couple of people, and they're like, no, look, it says it's super silent. It's going to freak everybody out. And I was like, we just put like little jingle bells on it or a little cowbell or something.
Yeah.
You hear Jesse like tingle, 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 tingle coming down the hallway.
Right. It's a little Jesse Prius. You got to figure out something.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm almost positive you putting pants on that robot is not in any way going to humanize it.
That's the thing. I don't want people to think about it as a robot. I want to think of it as a little version of me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, Cameron? Maybe I can get a broomstick and just make him a little tall, make him my height. You know, I can extend it. Does it have an extender pole?
No,
because that way it's just a very skinny, limbless version of me. That's how I want people to think of it. Actually, I have one leg. I have one long, skinny leg. That's how I want you to think of this role. I want it to be exactly like I'm there, except for some reason, both arms are gone. And I have one
leg in a roller skate, and you're just there.
And I'm on a roller skate.
But I love
and much shorter.
That at night, like he's going to come in the morning and fire things up on his end, and everybody that interacts with him is just going to be laughing, and he doesn't understand why. And so he has to roll in and look at a mirror. Yeah, he has to roll in, look at a mirror, and look at the fact that people have colored all over his little. Right.
The next
someone
step,
drew a mustache on me, and I wanted to know.
Very funny, guys.
They didn't draw it on. It's one of those mustache stickers that you can do. Put it right on the screen. No, this is the next step would be that, Jesse, you are wearing virtual reality goggles on your end, and this thing's camera is your entire interaction with the world. It would make it weird when you have to sit down at the computer and work. Because you would be...
I'd be very unproductive. Most of my day would be spent wheeling around scaring people.
But you should get him a little fake computer station just so people can generally see, like, okay, Jesse's doing emails right now. I'll leave him alone.
Oh, so his docking charger thing could be at a little desk. So Jesse, when he's like
VPN,
off,
you could see what's happening on the screen. It would literally be like I'm there.
No, well, yeah, when Jesse's like, yeah, exactly. I actually like that idea. That put his dock at a desk and a little monitor and stuff. I like it.
Welcome to the show, Prop.
There we go. All right, on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Eddie Koffoltz.
I'm Chandler String.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Propaganda.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to The Relevant Podcast. Connect with us on Twitter @RelevantPodcast and get bonus material from this episode and more at the podcast section on relevantmagazine.com. And don't forget to check the magazine out. It's available on newsstands and at the iTunes App Store, or you can subscribe online at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
Does it have an extender pole? Because that way it's just a very skinny, limbless version of me.